Alright everybody, welcome back to a quick little PowerPoint review. This is what our final topic is going to be for this class. Basically, I chose to do this last. If you look at the order in the book, this actually comes before Excel. But I choose to do it last because, well, it is the easiest thing we do. I prefer to do the easiest thing at the end instead of the hardest thing. I think I've explained this before prior, but I've never been a huge fan of PowerPoint. It has its purposes, but it's relied on a little too much. Now I've used it a good bit at the beginning of this class, mostly because, well, online that's kind of the only way I could lecture. But I tried to make them at least somewhat interesting, as everybody saw. And they turned out alright, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick a blank presentation here. I'm just going to go through the basics here, what you guys are going to see in the exercises you're going to do this week. Now, of course, this is one of the easier applications. It's mostly, if you look, half of the stuff up here is Word, as a matter of fact. You'll see insert, I can insert pictures, online pictures. Most of this looks exactly like Word. Word art. We've got themes and things like that, just like Word. There are a few other things up here that add a little bit more difficulty to it. Review, same as Word. View, a little bit different. But you still file, save as, you have info and various things like that. You can make new documents. Most of it is very similar to Word. You can copy, you type in stuff. And then the rest is formatting for the most part. Adding little effects to make things look cooler. Now, the purpose of PowerPoint, it's a presentation software. It's designed to present whatever topic or things you're discussing. So you can show it a little more visually instead of just standing up there telling a story. You got visuals to go with it. Some people are visual learners and they like that. Other people, like to hear the lecture and don't really like to think of it in their heads instead of seeing the pictures. It just depends on the type of person. Now, I think this PowerPoint overall is used a little too heavily. I sat in many a class where that's pretty much all you did. You sat there for PowerPoint and watched them do a PowerPoint the entire class. And that was every class, all the way to the end of the semester. And that's a little too much. It's used to help you describe points and things like that, not to be the main tool for teaching, in my opinion. Now, there are other presentation softwares. OpenOffice has one, Presenter. There is another one called Prezi, which is an online thing, which is pretty cool for those of you who want to look at that. But for this class, we're going to be talking PowerPoint. Now, of course, every PowerPoint has a title slide. And usually there's a little information about the person who's doing it. You're going to want more slides, and this is generally where you're going to go to get more of whatever type you want. Title and content, usually you see the most. And I can pick any particular topic. Let's see here. Boring things. How's that? And I can Google and go search for pictures and stuff like that, or I can use the clip art. There's numerous ways. In this chapter, you're going to be downloading pictures and inserting them. So if you already have a set of pictures, you can use the insert picture to put them in. If you don't, you can use the online pictures to search for clip art. And you can find pretty much anything you want for the most part. So we're going to talk a little bit about boring things in this, just briefly as an overview. So things that are boring. Long-winded PowerPoint slides. Those are pretty boring. Teachers who go off on tangents about nothing. I've had this happen numerous times as well. I've probably done this numerous times. Hopefully not too badly, though. And let's see, other boring things. I don't know. I don't find a protractor very exciting. So I'll just throw that on there. So I'm going to list points. Now, what I don't want to do is put too much stuff on a slide. I don't want to have pages and pages of information on a slide. A slide is made for, it's called PowerPoint for a reason. Each one of these things is a slide that shows one point at a time. So one point pops up, long-winded PowerPoint slides, and I talk about that for a minute or so. Then the next point comes up. Teachers who go off on tangents about nothing. I talk about that for, seconds, minutes, whatever. And a protractor, I talk about that. You don't want the entire class to be reading your PowerPoint slide. If they can read, why do they have to listen to you talk? They can read. The whole point is for you to do the presentation, not to have the PowerPoint do it for you. Now, these are various other things you see. Not very exciting looking yet. I make another slide. Let's add a to content slide this time. How about exciting things? We'll go with, I can add pictures. I can add just a list of things. How about fighting? Explosions. Those are pretty exciting. See someone fighting, that's exciting. Something blows up. You're excited whether you want to be or not. Fighting, explosions, and if I had a class here to give me any kind of excitement or exciting ideas, I would pick that. So let's go with free money. Alright, that's exciting. You just find money somewhere. Alright, so I got some more stuff. And I'll add one more slide here. We will just go with comparison, section header, title and content. Alright. Just a bit more stuff. And I may want to talk about anything from, let's see here, school, graduating, blah, blah, and blah. And just like in Word, it has a spell check to tell you that something's not spelled correctly or something's not done correctly. If I misspell graduating, it should highlight it and tell me that I've misspelled graduating. Gradating. Well, there we go. Graduating. Now, of course, it looks pretty pitiful. If I run the slide, I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll see. Title slide, it goes to the next one, it goes to the next one, and it goes to the next. And then we end. Nothing overly exciting. It's kind of bland, all white. So I may want to insert some photos. I may want to go to design and maybe splash some color onto it. Give it some themes and things like that. So I can go down here and give it any number of things. Let's go with, let's see. That looks interesting. We'll go with that. There we go. Now it's a little more colorful, a little more interesting looking. And I can pick any of the different types of variants they have over here. Change just the fonts, the effects, the colors, or any of those in specifically. And now I can start inserting pictures or art or things like that. We have art up here I can draw. So I can draw in a smiley face. And I can just move that anywhere I want. Just drag and move it. I can resize it. I can move it to the front, to the back. I could even spin it around and do various other things with it. Woo! Just like that. I don't think green is his color though. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a, let's see, alt that back, green background. Let's go with this light blue ought to kind of stick out there. There we go. Alright, so I can insert shapes. I can change the colors of those shapes. Outlines, various other things. I can even make it somewhat transparent if I want to. Alright, I can go to insert and insert pictures. Now, in some of the exercises in the book, you will have to download pictures. Those will be posted on Canvas for you. You just right-click on them and save them, and then you can insert them using pictures. If you're going to use the online pictures, that means you're going to use typically Bing image search. So I just simply go here and I search for, in this case, boring things. Oh, there we go. I'll just go ahead and insert that. I don't know. Who here looks like they're kind of bored? There we go. We'll go with these two. Everything I check will get inserted at the same time, so they'll kind of overlap a little bit. I have to click on one and move it. And again, you can resize these things. You notice these little lines that pop up. These are guidelines to kind of keep you situated. Make sure you're in the right proportions. And I can cut, paste this in other slides if I want to. I want this to go over here, for example. Resize it. Now you always want to use the corners, just like in Word, unless you want this guy to be stretched out like that. So long-winded PowerPoint slides. We'll go over here and we'll insert a couple other pictures and things like that. If you have a built-in frame like this, you can use this instead. Just click and voila. Hey, it's a bird. He looks pretty exciting, so I'm going to put him there. I saw the bird and thought it was cool, so I saved it. I have no idea who Noisy Room Net is, but they're on Twitter. Oh, anyway, fighting explosions. I probably want to get some fighting explosions, so actually the bird's probably not so good for this part. So let's go ahead and get some fighting and explosions. Online pictures. We'll look for fight. And we got several fights. And you can also go to Google and download pictures there as well. Let's go with... I like that. It's geeky enough to work. And it'll automatically put it kind of in that little picture holder, but I can insert more pictures if I want to. They don't necessarily have to be in that particular spot. Whoop. Let's go here, online pictures, and we're going to go for explosions. Hey, there we go. Let's pick this one. There. I got two here, actually. Let's undo that real quick and try it once more. I'll just pick the one. You. Now, as you can see, it's ginormous, so I probably want to shrink it a little bit and have some explosions pop up. I can put these on top of each other. I can hide some behind things. I can move them around, actually. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And, of course, money. Money! Everyone likes money. Let's go with you. No, Monopoly guy seems to work. Monopoly-esque guy. And I'm just going to move this now. I could, of course, have it hanging off the page, and that's exactly how it would look. Not exactly going to be a good PowerPoint slide, though, if we do that. So there we go. We have a couple of things on this slide, and some various other things. I think I got enough pictures on here already, so... I do kind of want a ending slide, and usually that's your title slide. You can actually right-click and duplicate that. And you can move these slides around just like that, left, right, up, down, and so on. And this would be technically my ending slide. And I would probably ask questions or things like that. Like so. Now, the PowerPoint slide looks a little more interesting. I can run it. And you see I can talk about each little thing. Like so. Now, of course, it's still... we can add some more stuff to it. I've added pictures. I've made it a little more colorful. I can go to transitions. Transition is basically a slight change that's going to happen in between each slide. It gives you a pause. So you can catch your breath, so you can breathe for a little bit. So I can go up here and pick any of these. Morph, fade, cut, random bars, reveal, split. There's a whole list of them here. Let's go with... I've always liked Vortex. So we're going to go with Vortex. And it will put that animation or that transition on that one slide. You'll see a little star next to it. The others do not get it. You'll have to apply to all if you want it for everything. Or you can give each one an individual. Each of these things sometimes have, well, different little effects and things from different directions. I can even play sounds. Caution, sound can be really annoying, especially if it happens constantly. For example, let's see, arrow. Well, let's see what that sounds like if I run it. Yeah, a little Shit. Let's pick something a little more annoying, shall we? But you can actually add your own sounds. You can use the sounds that are already here. And of course, you know, you can make all these sounds do whatever. Explosions. I actually do have fights and explosions and money, and I can have all these sounds pop up when things are happening. But sounds can be a little too much sometimes, so I'm going to leave those alone. Now, animations you will see probably next chapter, but this would allow me to actually do a little bit more. If you saw the slides I gave you at the beginning of the class, you notice everything doesn't appear on the page at once. You know, this will pop up and then this will pop up. And it allows you to split things up a little bit. So whoever's watching your presentation doesn't see everything all at once. They only see what you want them to see. And then everything else is hidden. So I can just show this one particular line and talk about that. And the audience doesn't know what the next lines are going to be until they pop up. Maybe I can time a picture to pop up, or a ship to fly by, or whatever else, depending on what we're doing. Now, of course, you can also adjust transitions to be on timers and stuff like that. Generally, it's better to do it on mouse click, because if you screw up or someone asks a question, now suddenly you're behind, or you're ahead, or if you go too fast. So usually you want to just keep that by the default. You can go to slideshow from the beginning. You can also do it down here as well. It's the same thing. Review, of course, we have spell check, thesaurus, just like Word. View, just different ways of viewing the slides. And storyboarding, well, if you want to make like a whole little storyboard kind of flowchart thing, I've never honestly used it, and honestly we're not going to use it, but it does give you a little bit more options and stuff over here. For what we're doing in this chapter, you're not even going to bother with it. So, that's your kind of introduction rather, to PowerPoint. Most of you have probably used it before in some form or fashion. But I guarantee you there will still be stuff you're going to learn that you didn't know was there. Even when I built the first original PowerPoint slides, I thought I had a fair grasp of everything. I learned one or two things I didn't know. Because I had to run through it, make it do this. I'm like, can it do this? Oh, why? Well, yes, it can. So you're still going to probably pick up one or two things. But this is, as you can see, quite a bit easier than the previous applications. Alright, so we're going to stop here. You have an assignment this week in PowerPoint, along with your tests and various other things. So if you have any problems or questions or anything like that, by all means, message me. If not, then I will see you, hopefully, final exam time.